Good morning, beautiful souls. Happy Friday. It's week 9. I hope I get that right. Yeah, week 9 of the Woodland Chronicles. And it's getting lighter with every morning in the Northern Hemisphere. And so it means I can get down here nice and early. It's not even 7 o'clock in the morning at the moment, which is great. So what have we got on the Ascension menu this week? I've been noticing, or it has been brought to my attention, quite a significant expansion on the subject that I've been covering more than once, which is to do with the nervous system. And so March has got an incredible amount going on astrologically. I wrote my newsletter yesterday, which will be going out to everybody who signed up to the newsletter, but rather than me attempting to explain what's going on in the heavens, I've linked my good friend Pam Gregory's YouTube channel in. She is, as I've said previously, an absolute master of analysing what is going on in the heavens, how this is affecting us, how it is assisting us to form a higher reality. So I can't recommend highly enough that if you want to know what March is bringing on an astrological level, how the stars are affecting us, what Saturn moving into Pisces means, then go and listen to Pam's analysis of this. And so the link will be in the text. So regardless of my lack of knowledge, what I have perceived is that there are some huge changes going on. And with these huge changes, which it is my job to analyse, it is my job to see what's occurring, this is affecting human beings more so than we could possibly have predicted or imagined at the beginning of the year. Now, during December, January, the focus was very much on this toothpaste tube. Now, if you haven't heard me talk about the toothpaste tube, I will explain it briefly now. So the previous 10 years, having moved from the cosmic moment, the 21st of December 2012, into the 10-year period that we've just experienced, in whatever way, shape or form that we had the goings on within our ascension process, we've had a mixture of consciousnesses and energies all intertwined with each other, very, very much highlighted in the last 3 years with the occurrences of the lockdowns, and we could really visibly see where everybody was on a consciousness level, not in a judgmental way, just plain as day, where people are, what they're perceiving, how they are responding to the energies, and what their version of reality is. So there's all these mixed bags of reality, these different perceptions, but more to the point, what we noticed was the fact that the majority of the planet is under, or has been under, hypnosis. So with all of these energies mixed in with each other, life for light workers has become very pressurized. It's been, well, we've had to, I'm not going to use the word endure, we've had to move through extremely challenging periods of time where all of these consciousnesses are just simply not playing together nicely. Now, what happened on the winter solstice this year, the December solstice, was there was a cut-off point. The higher realm said, right, you've had your 10 years, and now we are going to set the planetary platform vibration at a very high frequency, much, much higher than we were used to. We've had years of preparation, years of getting used to all of this light coming in, countless initiations and periods of training where we are placed within scenarios that test and challenge us and push us to our limits. And you know, the analogy of crushing coal into a diamond comes forth every single time. Without the tests, we stay as we are. And that's one of the probably one of the hardest kind of things to accept when fully embarking on the spiritual pathway, when we realize that it's not just all sweetness and light and angels and fluff and all the rest of it. The actual nuts and the bolts of the spiritual pathway is accepting the light, loving the dark, all of these aspects within us, finding that equilibrium, that balance, then striving forwards to actually become attuned to our fifth dimensional heart centers. So the platform of energy, walking through the December solstice, was it between the December solstice and January, it was shown to me as a toothpaste tube. The four previous consciousnesses, 3D, 4D, 5D, and the very high frequency kind of people that are linked into the 6D, whatever, it's all numbers at the end of the day. All of these got put together, squeezed through a narrow space. So rather than having all of this space to kind of interact and kind of like, you know, just muddle on in various states, got funneled into a narrow space, and coming out the other side, there's one frequency bandwidth, and we are in that frequency bandwidth now. In fact, we're 2 months into it. Another, I'm not going to kind of, you know, basically regurgitate my entire newsletter, but I was talking about the perception of time, and also, like, you know, where's time gone? You know, it's March already. We're heading towards the equinox, the spring equinox in the north, autumn in the south. I always have to put that in because people have pulled me up on it. And so the year is marching on at an incredible pace, and it appears to do so because we are so busy with our own processes. We are so busy with life. We've got all of this stuff that's coming at us at all different angles that we have to juggle, micromanage, deal with, or simply actually experience and process. And all of a sudden, the process of waking up has truly begun. Okay, this is the month that we're going to start to see people being cracked out of their shells. And in many ways, it's also happening as a step up within the light field. Our nervous systems have not caught up, and that I can say with genuine certainty, that what we're doing on this ascension pathway, the process and the progress that we're making moving forward at the speed and the velocity that we are, is going to take all of us to be very, very careful, very loving, very gentle, very continuously aware of what we are experiencing at the time, and allowing ourselves the time and the space and the regeneration that we need. It's a big lesson. Whereas, you know, you have all of these initiation gateways. You can go through the initiation of unconditional love. You can go through the initiation of discernment. The self-care one is going to be big on many of our lists this year. Self-care, self-love. And if we're not listening to ourselves, if we're attempting to pour from a half-empty cup or an empty cup, that half-empty cup will empty itself very quickly. Now, you're not going to get the period of grace that you used to have, where you can keep on pushing and you can, yeah, I'll just do a little bit more here, or I'll give a little bit more there. Unless you retreat and you take that time and that self-love period, you're gonna burn out. And I say this with the utmost love and respect, that many of us have done way more than our fair share of giving, of assisting, of that process where we throw ourselves in simply because it is our soul guidance to do so. And now the soul guidance is to take that step back when we need it. And I'm seeing, the reason why I'm talking about this is I'm seeing evidence of the breaking point. Now, when I say a breaking point, it means that an individual or a soul who is going through the process of transformation, the energy transformation, the process of connecting back into the heart again after being led by the ego for years. And this is a collective thing that's occurring. It's not just an individual thing, it's a collective thing. The process has now reached breaking point. So and with our poor nervous I say our poor nervous systems, of course our nervous systems are going to be okay, but they're playing catch up all of the time. This new space, this new higher light, although we are mentally and on a soul level completely keyed into where we're supposed to be going and what we're supposed to be doing, the human vessel needs care and attention. And for years it's been asking us to clean our acts up, be wary of what we put into it. Food, drink, medication, education, whatever's coming out of the TV screen, whatever's coming out of your phone, out of your laptop, to be very, very discerning about that input, because every single little interaction on that level affects the nervous system. Now, when the light comes in at the frequency that it did in December, what our nervous systems register is a fight or flight response. It immediately goes into overdrive. So we've in many cases been in that state now for months, or maybe in some cases like maybe even years. We've had just a continual rolling ball of it. So, and this particularly applies to those of us who are wearing the golden robe. You know, you've heard me speak about it previously. If you haven't, go and check my videos out about the golden robe. The new kind of protocol for anybody who's working with Lord Cthulhu, the Order of the Golden Robe. The name of it's slightly changed now. It used to be the Brotherhood, it's now the Order of the Golden Robe. Those of us that are wearing the golden robe, those that are holding the light, high, steady and clear, the field at an anchor point for those waking up, are now going to be feeling the flex. And there was no period of grace, we go straight to work. So that field now needs more support. There are people out there that are clearly starting to unravel with the intensity of the changes. Now, the nervous system, as I was saying, can only take so much before it just simply goes, I've had enough, I'm going to have a paddy, bit of a tantrum, and everything starts to kind of not malfunction, but just simply shut down on a level. So this is the ultimate opportunity to begin self-care. Okay, if you are listening to this and you are experiencing that overwhelm, that fried feeling within your nervous system, I know I've covered this before, but it is happening to so many people out there that it needs to be woven into the state of everyday consciousness. You're going to be called upon to assist your brothers and your sisters. Okay, that's an absolute. Wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, how big or small you regard your particular role, there is going to be somebody around you who on any level of consciousness needs your support. Now, with the effect of pushing everyone through this gateway, that is, there's one outcome for that. Okay, there's not a, oh well, you can go over there and play at that level, and we're going to go over there and play at this level. Everyone has agreed to raise their frequency, tune into the heart center and go through the ascension gateway, apart from the souls who have signed the contract to continue learning at 3D. Now, what happens over the next 10 years is that we form our own timeline, and that timeline is forming around us now. We can already see the effects of that. Time is no longer has any resemblance of what it used to. You remember the kind of the good old days of having 24 hours a day and maybe a grueling kind of eye-watering 8 hours in the office kind of thing. Well, we're not getting 24 hours anymore. We're getting 16 if we're lucky, and that's speeding up by the day. So perception of time is very dependent on our particular focus and application and our intention of what we're doing at that particular moment. If we're immersed, if we're in love with what we are doing, time just flies. It's no longer measured in the way that it was in the third dimension. It moves as fast or as slowly as our consciousness and our vibration is dictating to it. So this is an indication that life is starting to become more fifth dimensional, that we expand, everything around us expands and contracts according to our vibration. And this will only increase, and it will only grow over the next 10 years until the concept of time as we knew it previously will be an irrelevance. We will regard things as our consciousness presents it to us at a much higher level. But having digressed a little bit now, just back to the beautiful souls that are around us, who are on an energy level, or maybe even more, you know, on a physical level, turning around and saying, we need assistance. Okay, now's your time to shine. It's time to step up and actually provide that assistance from the heart. And there are many of them, and you might be one of them yourself. Is you've actually got to the point where everything it's reaching Phoenix point, where everything burns to the ground and then gets regenerated. It might not be quite so dramatic as that. It might not be the point of your particular initiation, but these things are triggered by our everyday circumstances. Okay, they're triggered by the things that we experience, the things that we are choosing to learn with, and ultimately the things that are set out by our soul teams and our soul agreements to challenge us. If we didn't go through this period at this time, we would simply stay the same. And the idea of this process isn't to stay the same, it's to evolve, to actually raise our frequency and live in love. I am living love. Okay, so all of the I's need dotting and the T's need crossing, and ultimately for those in this kind of state of kind of almost nervous system crisis, it's then handed over to us, supporting and bolstering the light field, to be there to provide assistance. If you are not in a position to directly help yourself, you will undoubtedly know somebody who is. So start using the people, the knowledge and the resources that you have. The person that you are assisting might not necessarily need exactly what you have to offer, or they might need multiple sources of different healing to come in to deal with different facets and different aspects. Don't be worried about saying, this is out of my knowledge bandwidth, I need to hand it over. There's other people that are very effective. The beauty of what we're doing now is that so many of us are so awake, and so many of us have stepped forwards, and we've got the added advantage of connectivity, particularly via social media, to allow us to be in contact with all of these different beautiful levels of expertise that are coming in, and all of these different representations of spiritual gifts and talents. There is such an abundance of knowledgeable, gifted souls now who are there working from a point of purity, who are ready to step up. So always be ready to bring in the assistance that is needed by calling on people that might not necessarily have, who may have something that you don't, because at one point or another you are going to be called in to service and action with your precise skill set, everything that you know. So this is how we all work together cohesively. This is how we become an efficient, productive, working unity all around the world, in whatever countries, whatever communities, whatever setup that we're moving into. We're working together. and there's nobody who is better than anybody else, there's nobody who is beneath. We've all got an incredible amount to offer, but each individual soul on the ascension pathway will have precise gifts, skills and talents that we have been gifted with, that we remember. Gifts from Atlantis, Egypt, Lemuria, all of the other kind of, or you might be one of these incredible star being souls that are coming in, and you're bringing through the healing of the Andromedans, the Pleiades, the incredible luminosity of Orion, or the golden Christed light of Lyra. All of this knowledge is becoming infused into our field now. There isn't a shortage of ascension knowledge. There's one thing that we don't have, is a shortage of gifts and knowledge, and it's only going to get bigger and better and brighter. So the nervous system is again on the menu at the moment. My nervous system, your nervous system, the nervous systems, everybody around us. Let's just be very aware of what this month is going to bring, because, and I'm not even talking about what 3D might present. They're an irrelevance as far as I'm concerned. The carnival will continue, the clown show will just continue producing as many distractions as it possibly wants to. It's our job to completely ignore them and carry on doing what we are doing. At some point we are going to need to address these souls that are stepping completely out of their way to attempt to keep the 3D matrix active in a state of survival, because we are getting to the point now where they are going to be recalled in the not too distant future to stand before the karmic table, and they know this. So it's interesting times. What 2023, what a year to be alive, what a year to be an incarnation, and to have the knowledge and the presence and the gift of the spiritual pathway at this point, at this period of time. It is incredible. So on that note, I'm going to love you all and leave you and wish you the most beautiful weekend. And I'm going to be doing a talk live in Emsworth on the 11th of March. I mean, it's the 3rd today. It's not far away at all. So not this Saturday, next Saturday I'll be speaking live, and I'm going to be doing a talk on practical ascension, Emsworth Village Hall, and that's in Hampshire. So if you're in the area and you fancy coming along, I'd love to see you there. And then after that, I'm back with Lavisa Altorn on the 20th for the 3rd and final instalment of our World Tree series, and boy am I loving doing that. It's such an incredible new unique energy, and working with the Lavisa's knowledge of the Norse energies is incredible. So hope to see you there. Sending you all lots of love. Bye for now. See you soon.